Chapter 30. Murray. Sarah was mopping the kitchen floor. This was not a reflection of Murray's own efforts the previous day, but an indication of Sarah's rising anxiety. The change had been sudden, like the sun disappearing behind a cloud. Murray had tried to hang on to the feeling of contentment he'd had as they'd driven home from Johnson's cars, laughing about Ginger's thought at sale. But like trying to recall 33 heat in the depths of winter, it had eluded him. Murray wasn't sure what the trigger had been. Sometimes there wasn't one. Sit down and have a cup of tea. I want to do the windows first. It's Christmas Eve. So? Murray looked through the radio times for something to distract them both. It's a Wonderful Life was playing. Not ideal. The snowman's on in a minute. There's a surprise. She dumped the mop in the bucket. I bet even Alec Jones is sick of that one. Murray would have ripped on it, but Sarah's brows was knitted in a deep V as she looked under the sink for a window cleaner and a cloth. So he let it go without comment. Murray was good at reading the signs, at taking his lead from someone else and mirroring their reaction back to them. He'd done it for years with criminals, long before non-verbal communication became something you had to do to be taught in classroom. He'd done it for years at home. It was tiring, though, and not for the first time. Murray wished he and Sarah had children to dilute the ripples of their condition. He had wanted them desperately, but Sarah had been too frightened. What did they take after me? He had deliberately misunderstood. They'll be the luckiest kid in the world. What if they inherit my head, my fucked up, bastard, shitty head? She had started crying, and Murray had wrapped her up in his arms so she couldn't see that his own eyes were leaking too. Oh, my nose, he said gently. There was a hiccup of laughter from the folds of his jumper, and then she'd pull away. What if I hurt them? You wouldn't. You'd only ever hurt yourself. Murray's reassurance had fallen on deaf ears. Sarah became terrified of falling pregnant. Refusing to be intimate with Murray, she spiraled into a paranoid episode involving weeks of pointless pregnancy tests in the unlikely event that Eastbourne had been selected as the location of the next immaculate conception. Eventually, the GP had agreed to refer Sarah for sterilization for the sake of her mental health, which meant it was just Sarah and Murray. They could have spent Christmas with Sarah's brother and his family, but Sarah's recent admission meant that no plans had been made. Murray wished he hadn't already got the tree down for the loft, or that he'd had the foresight not to buy a pre-decorated one. At least that would have given them something to do, something other than cleaning. Sarah was kneeling on the draining board to do the kitchen windows, and Murray was looking for another cloth. He may as well make himself useful when he heard the sound of singing from outside the front door. We three kings of Orient are, one in taxi, one in car, one on a scooter, blowing his hooter. The singing stopped and it was replaced by raucous laughter. What on earth? Sarah was curious enough to put down the windowline and come with Murray to the front door. Happy Christmas. Nish's partner Gil thrust a bottle of wine at Murray and welcome home. Nish handed Sarah a gift bag with a large B-ribbon tag. You don't get anything, she said to Murray, because you're a miserable old codger. She grinned. Aren't you going to invite us in? Proper Cara singers get mince pies and mulled wine. Mince pies, I think we can do, Murray said, opening the door wide. Sarah was clutching the gift bag with both hands. Her eyes started. She looks toward the kitchens as though planning her escape. Murray felt her heart sink. He held her gaze and wondered how to make her understand that he needed this. Friends over on Christmas Eve, mince pies, carols, normality. Sarah hesitated, then gave a tentative smile. I was just getting everything ready for Christmas. Come on in. Murray found the waitress mince pies he'd been keeping for the next day, and glasses full of wine Nish and Gil had brought. He found a CD of King Cole's Carol, and then Nish found one on top 10 Christmas hits. Sarah opened her presents and hugged everyone for the impromptu party, and Murray thought Nish and Gil could never know what a perfect gift they'd given him. A little bird tells me you're in the lion's den this morning, Nish said. That hadn't taken long. The lion? Gil was topping up everyone's glasses. Sarah held hers out, and Murray tried not to let his face reflect his thoughts. A bit of alcohol made Sarah buoyant, happy. A lot had the opposite effect. Superintendent Neo Griffith, Nish explained, fond of roaring. With the little bird who told you that have flashing bauble earrings and tinsel in his hair? No idea, she texted me. I take it your plan to single-handedly solve Eastbourne's historic murders has been thwarted. Murray took a sip of his wine. If anything, I'm even more determined to get to the bottom of what happened to the Johnsons, especially now that things have escalated. Nish nodded. The brick's gone for further analysis. No fingerprints, I'm afraid. It's a bugger of a surface, and whoever wrapped the paper around it was forensically aware enough to wear gloves. But I can tell you that the note wrapped around the brick was printed on different paper to the one used for the card, and it was produced on a different printer. Sarah put down her glasses. They came from different people? Not necessarily, but it's possible. That makes sense. Sarah looked at Murray. Doesn't it? One person prompting Anna to dig into the past, the other warning her off. Maybe, like Nish, Murray was reluctant to commit, but he was fast coming to the same conclusion himself. They weren't dealing with one person, but two. The anniversary card came from someone who knew the truth about what had happened to Caroline Johnson and wanted Anna to ask questions. Last night's note was a different matter, an instruction, a threat. No police. Stop before you get hurt. Why send a warning unless you're the murderer? Murray couldn't fault Sarah's logic. Whoever threw the brick through the window of Anna's house was responsible for Tom and Caroline's death, and it looked as though they weren't finished with the Johnsons yet. Murray needed to unravel this case before Anna or her baby got hurt.